Hey guys, hopefully you're all doing good. As you know, the applications have opened. You can't submit them yet, but they have opened so you can start filling out all your information. It was a little bit of a rough week for me when it opened. I broke my nose and had a little bit of surgery.
I feel like I'm dead. I'm alive, but I'm dead.
So sorry that I haven't uploaded a video in a while, but I'm back at it, trying my best, and I'm going to keep you updated on what I'm doing. So today I want to cover the personal statement. The reason I want to cover this is because it's such a big part of the application. The personal statement is basically a mini essay of 4,500 characters, and that includes spaces. What the personal statement is it's just telling schools who you are, why you want to be a dentist, what the path was that led you to want to be a dentist, what you've done since you've known you've wanted to be a dentist. The main things that you want schools to know about yourself is exactly what you put in this personal statement. Obviously, I haven't applied to dental schools yet because you can't submit applications, but I do want to give you guys some tips that I received earlier about writing my personal statement because I really feel that it'll help you, especially since you guys are probably in the same boat as I am, just getting ready to apply. So again, I'm just going to give you some general tips that really helped me and that I feel each applicant should be aware of when they are writing their personal statement. And then I will take you through how I wrote my personal statement and then show you the structure of how it is written. So let's get into it. The first thing you need to do is write. You just need to brainstorm. Every day I would just take 30 minutes and just write things about yourself. Write about what led you to dentistry. Write about the experiences you had when you were shadowing. There's no better way to brainstorm than just writing. Take 30 minutes a day doing it and then come back to it the next day and then write 30 minutes more. And do this over a week and you'll find that you'll have so many ideas on a piece of paper that you'll be able to just start writing about them. As you begin writing the personal statement, you'll notice it's not very good, but that's why we have rough drafts. I think I did 5 drafts in total. I started out, left it for a little bit, came back and realized it was absolutely terrible. So I rewrote it again, came back to it later, realized I need to change stuff. You're gonna need to do the exact same thing. So make sure to be comfortable with having rough drafts. And in order to be able to write all these drafts, you need to give yourself adequate time to do it. You don't wanna be rushing this. You wanna have time to think about things and write things out. So basically what I'm saying is if you haven't started yet, you should probably start right now. Tip number 2 is really don't go over stuff that you're going over in your application already. I mean, it's okay to talk about things that you're already talking about in your application. Of course, you don't wanna just state things over again, but put it in a way so that you can dive deeper into it if you really want the committees to know something. Now, when you get to the actual personal statement, start with a hook to drag them in and make that hook positive. Think about this. If you wrote something negative and that's the very first thing they read, that's what the tone of the whole essay is going to be. So make sure to be positive and just write something to really pull them in. Another tip is to be real and genuine. Like I said before, they're reading so many personal statements that they can tell when you're BSing it. What if you show up to the interview and you're nothing like your personal statement? They're gonna lose all trust in you. So just make sure it's about you. Be genuine about it. Another important tip is when you get to the very end, just bring it back all together. You don't wanna just be grabbing ideas from everywhere, just showing what you've done, and then all of a sudden saying, this is why I wanna be a dentist. Have a theme throughout your whole essay. Have a reason of why you're putting each experience in that essay and tie it together in the bottom, explaining why you would be a perfect fit. Make sure to be professional and just show your passion for dentistry. Now, a few tips kind of from the outside. The first one is to seek help from people. We're not made to go through this whole process alone. That's why we have outside help. Each university usually has a pre-health advisor or pre-health advisement that would love to help you out in this path. They'll read through your personal statement, they'll help you know what you need to write, what you should take out, how you can make it more presentable to these committees. Colleges also have writing labs and tutors that are available to help you with these exact things. So my advice would be take advantage of these. I did this with my pre-advisement center and honestly, I loved it. It helped me so much. But I do want you to be careful with the people that you ask. It's good to ask other pre-dental students or students that are already in dental school for their advice, to read over it, look through the grammar and see what you should add. But really, these aren't the people that are going to be reading your personal statement and they're not going to be admitting you into the school. So take it with a grain of salt. So let's step into my personal statement, how I wrote it, how long I took, and the exact structure of what my personal statement is like. So kind of as I mentioned before, after my first draft, I was reading through it and I noticed there was no fluidity to it. I had all these experiences about why I was interested in dentistry, how I was led to it, where I used to live, and how that kind of tied into everything. But there was no theme about it. I was just trying to sound impressive and wow the committee. I don't think it was that bad, but I do feel like it was just kind of jumbled all together and really didn't make too much sense. After I took time and went back and thought about it, I realized, yeah, I need to have more of a theme about my personal essay. So through all the experiences that I had, I picked a theme that I felt went with each experience. And that theme that I decided on was the art of connection. So I'm going to read you guys my intro, and it's kind of weird because I haven't applied yet, so I'm a little bit nervous about sharing it. But there's no use in really using anything I've written because it's a personal statement. It's about you. But really what I want you to see is how I wrote it and how I felt I was able to hook the reader in. Also, I'd love feedback, so if you feel I didn't do that, just let me know. But I felt I did a pretty good job. As the youngest of 7 kids, it was easy to get lost in the mix. I learned quickly that unless I was bleeding, I should probably just figure it out on my own, which explains why I never told my parents how much I hated my yellow tooth. Instead of telling them, I started to exhibit shame with my smile. I would hold my hand up to cover my mouth when I found something funny. I would speak with my head down so people couldn't see the discoloration. It happened so slowly that even I didn't realize I was doing it. But as a part of this, I started to become more introverted. I started to clam up. I started to let my tooth decide my words. So there in my intro, I'm just introducing a little bit about myself. I had an experience in my life that really affected me personally, and I'm setting up the tone to start talking about how connections with others started to pull me out of my shell and lead me to the path of dentistry. So the next paragraph, I talk about the next stage of my life. I ended up moving to Mexico for my high school years. When I was there, obviously I didn't look like anybody, I didn't speak the language, I was just part of a different culture. And it was already hard for me to connect with people because of my low self-esteem, but this just made it 20 times harder. But I ended up talking about experiences that pulled me out of my shell a little bit, and I saw that if I connected with someone, even with the littlest thing, I would come out of my shell and everything would be okay. But when I moved home, I had a routine dentist appointment, and that's where stuff started to change. So I was just casually talking with my dentist when he brought up the Utah Jazz. And a little side note, if you didn't know, I love the Jazz. I'm a big fan. We're actually the #1 seed right now going into the playoffs. So go Jazz, we're gonna win it all. But such a simple thing actually made me so comforted. It made me feel like I knew him. It made me feel like we were friends. And that little connection that he made with me made me feel confident to tell him about my tooth. It ended up being a super easy thing where he could just internally bleach my tooth. And all I really had to do was just speak up about it. And then just to be brief, I talk about again moving back to Mexico for 2 more years and my friend having one of the same exact problems and how he was able to have it fixed and how the connection with that dentist really changed him. I noticed how all these dentists had similar skills. They could talk with people, they could make it easy. They made you feel like you had been friends for years. It was the connection that they had with the patients that really made them feel safe and comfortable to express their own feelings. That's when I really understood that I wanted to do the same. I wanted to help people in the same way. I finally knew how to connect with people. I had so many experiences in my life that had led me to be able to do it. It became simple. After I talk about this realization, I talk about what I've done since then. If I really want to be a dentist, what have I done to show it? For a bit now, I've been a tutor, and I picked an experience that I had as a tutor that really resonated with me. I was tutoring this girl that had been in the same problem as I had been in. I had a really hard time adjusting to college in the beginning. It was that simple connection that I had with her that I had been in her shoes. I knew exactly what she was thinking. And so I knew exactly what she needed. And through that connection, I was able to guide her and help her to learn to do the things on her own to be able to have success. That's what I love about dentistry. You're talking with people every day. If you don't like talking with people, you probably shouldn't be a dentist. It's all about connecting with people, having them trust you. And as you do that every day, you'll see that you'll have more patience, you'll have more work, and you'll just love your job even more. Then in the outro, I tie it all together. Because I've had these experiences in my life and I've practiced these characteristics that I feel that dentists need to work in the profession, that I really do want to do it, that this is really for me. So that's how I went about writing my personal statement. Obviously, I didn't go too into depth, first because it kind of hurts to talk, so this has to be super brief, so I'm sorry about that. But I just wanted to show you guys how I structured it. Obviously, you guys can do things differently. I'm just here giving tips and what I feel is best. And I'll let you guys know in the future how it works out for me as I continue applying to schools. But I feel I've done a very good job and I'm thankful for all the tips that I've gotten from other people. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll ask my friends that have been through this and other people that have helped me in my path, and I'll get that answer for you. I hope you guys are getting through applications. We submit them here in a few weeks, so make sure to keep working hard, work on your personal statements, and we're all gonna get accepted. I'll see you guys next time.